The next topic for today is on the lymphatic drainage of the lung. The lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes form a thorough network throughout the entire body. And unlike arteries and veins, lymphatics are blind ending channels which are involved in important functions like absorption of dietary fat, fluid hemostasis, and also immunity. The lymphatic drainage of the lung, to understand it, we start by looking at the important lymph node groups in the lung. The first ones are the pulmonary lymph nodes. These pulmonary lymph nodes are found here in the angles of here where this blue arrow leads. They're found in the angles of bifurcation of the branching lobar bronchi. Another important group is the bronchopulmonary hilar lymph nodes here, which lies in the hilum of the lung, and the tracheobronchial lymph nodes, which are situated either above or below the bifurcation of the trachea, and the paratracheal lymph nodes, which are found as a chain on either side of the trachea. To look at a diagram which makes it clearer, again here we see the same important groups of lymph nodes. The bronchopulmonary nodes located right here, and the tracheobronchial lymph nodes at the point where the trachea bifurcates into the main bronchi, and the bronchomediastinal or paratracheal lymph nodes, which are found on either side of the trachea. The direction of flow of lymph is always from a return from the periphery towards the hilar tracheobronchial group of nodes, and from then on to the mediastinal lymph trunks. So everything moves in a centripetal fashion. They move from the periphery and come towards the center and ultimately drain into mediastinal lymph trunks. There are two main lymphatic plexuses in the lung. One is the superficial plexus and the deep plexus. The superficial plexus is found to lie just below the visceral pleura, and it drains into the bronchopulmonary nodes. The deep plexus, however, lies along the bronchial tree and the pulmonary vessels. It drains first into the pulmonary nodes and from there into the bronchopulmonary nodes. So to simplify it, from the superficial plexus into the bronchopulmonary nodes, and from there into the tracheobronchial nodes, finally draining into the right subclavian trunk and the left thoracic duct. From the deep plexus, lymph drains to the pulmonary lymph nodes, which is taken to the bronchopulmonary lymph nodes, and then the tracheobronchial lymph nodes, and finally the thoracic duct. To simplify matters, this is a small diagram which shows the general rule followed by lymphatic drainage in the lung. All lymph except for lymph drained from the left upper lobe drains into the right lymphatic duct. So this arrows on the right side of the diagram shows that all the lymph entirely from the right side of the lung and also from the lower portion of the left lobe drains into the right side, whereas only the left upper lobe drains into the thoracic duct via the left subclavian vein. Again, this is represented in this diagram. Here there are two colors of arrows, the black arrows and the red arrows. The black arrows represent the drainage from everywhere else, the entire right lung, which is seen to drain along the right side only. And here the left lower portion of the lung also drains along to the right subclavian lymphatic trunk. The red arrows show that the lymph from the left upper lobe alone drains separately into the left subclavian vein and the thoracic duct. The most important things to know with regards to this topic are the stations and zones into where we can locate these lymph node groups. The lymph node locations are mapped into 14 stations based on their relationship to surgical landmarks. The surgical landmarks may be great vessels, trachea, bronchi, or pleura. There are 14 stations and 7 zones. To remember them, station 1 to 9 correspond to nodal groups which are in the mediastinum, whereas stations 10 to 14 represent hilar and other more peripheral extra-mediastinal nodal groups. Nomenclature, usually along with the station number, we also have either R or L written alongside the number, which denotes right and left, and also A and P for anterior and posterior. The first zone is the supraclavicular zone, and supraclavicular zone is the home to station 1. As the name suggests, it represents these lymph nodes labeled as 1 in purple, which are found above the clavicular region. They extend from the lower margin of the cricoid superiorly to the clavicles and the upper border of the manubrium. If we have an imaginary line passing through the center of the midline of the trachea, that serves as a border to differentiate between nodes on the right side and the left side. On the right, they are therefore named 1R, and on the left of the midline line cutting the trachea, it is 1L. The second zone is the upper zone, and the upper zone holds 3 stations. So the superior mediastinal nodes, which are separated into station 2, station 3, and station 4. Starting with station 2. Station 2 is the upper paratracheal nodes. Station 3 is the prevascular and retrotracheal nodes, and station 4 is the lower paratracheal nodes. So station 2 lymph nodes are actually scattered all about the trachea. Unlike the group 1, unlike station 1, for station 2, we use the border as the left lateral border of the trachea and not the midline that cut through station 1. All the lymph nodes on the left are 2L, and on the right they are 2R. 2R lymph nodes extend from the left lateral border of the trachea, from the upper border of the manubrium to the intersection of caudal margin of the innominate vein with the trachea. And on the left side, from the upper border of the manubrium to the superior border of the aortic arch. Station 3 is better seen on a lateral view like this. The 3A nodes are the prevascular nodes, and 3B is the retrotracheal nodes. 3A is located right behind the sternum, but is anterior to the superior vena cava and the left carotid artery. 3B is the retrotracheal group of nodes, and as the name suggests, they are found behind, posterior to the trachea, and they extend from the apex of the chest to the carina. Station 4 nodes are seen here. They are the lower paratracheal nodes. As the name suggests, they are paratracheal and found on either side of the trachea. They are named as 4R and 4L. And again, the line demarcating right and left is the left lateral border of the trachea. And these nodes, the station 4 group of nodes, are found towards the distal end of the trachea, again extending from station 2 to the carina. The next zone is the aortopulmonary zone, which houses station 5 and station 6 lymph nodes. Station 5 here shows the subaortic group of nodes, which are located lateral to the ligamentum arteriosum, which becomes a ductus arteriosus. So here we see station 5, which is at the lower margin of aortic arch. The lower margin is formed by the aortic arch. Station 6 is the para-aortic nodes, which is anterior and lateral aspect of the ascending aorta and the aortic arch. The phrenic nerve is used for identification. In the aortic pulmonary zone, which consists of station 5 and station 6, there is an important clinical question where if a person has a vocal cord palsy, then which station of lymph nodes are likely involved? And the answer to this would be station 5 lymph nodes, because the anatomy and the path traveled by the recurrent laryngeal nerve differs on the right side and the left side. We see that on the left side, the recurrent laryngeal nerve actually comes below the arch of aorta, loops around it, and then goes up. So in conditions where the station 5 lymph node is enlarged, it can cause compression of this recurrent laryngeal nerve, leading to disorders of the voice. Next is subcarinal zone with station 7 lymph nodes. Station 7 lymph nodes are nestled right here below the carina, as seen by the blue colored lymph nodes in this diagram. They are found between the bifurcation of the mainstem bronchi. We have the lower zone lymph nodes consisting of 2 stations, station 8 and station 9. Station 8 is the paraesophageal lymph nodes, which are found inferior to the subcarinal lymph nodes. So station 7 was the subcarinal lymph nodes found just below the carina. Coming further down, lining the esophagus on either side is the station 8 lymph nodes, and because of their location, they are thus named paraesophageal lymph nodes. Station 9 refers to the lymph nodes which are found in the pulmonary ligament. Now, the pulmonary ligament is not an actual ligament, but a fold of the parietal pleura. The parietal pleura, depending on its location, is here. The parietal pleura near the mediastinum is the mediastinal parietal pleura, and it reflects laterally, forming the pulmonary ligament. The pulmonary ligament holds the station 9 lymph nodes. Here in this diagram, we see this gray line showing the parietal pleura, and as it is located in the mediastinal region, these group of lymph nodes which are found here along with it is called the pulmonary ligament associated lymph nodes, or the station 9 lymph nodes. Next is the hilar zone, which refers to station 10. In station 10, the lymph nodes are found along the right and left mainstem bronchi right before they bifurcate, and are designated as 10R and 10L, depending on whether they are present on the right side or on the left side. Here we see that the bronchi is going to divide, and right before it divides, we can locate the station 10 lymph nodes. The last zone is the interlobar and the peripheral zones. The interlobar zone holds station 11 lymph nodes, and the peripheral zone is station 12 to 14. These are made up of the station 11 is made up of lymph nodes located between the lobar bronchi, just beyond the bifurcation of the mainstem bronchi. So 10 was located before the bifurcation started, and 11 to 14 are usually located right after the bifurcation of the mainstem bronchi. Station 12 to 14 are the lobar, the segmental, and the subsegmental lymph nodes. They're quite infrequently seen, and quite difficult to categorize also because of this region, and quite very difficult to spot. More difficult to spot them on imaging as compared to the other station lymph nodes. Now, the clinical significance of knowing the stations and the zones are it's of vital importance while staging intrathoracic tumors, and also enlargement or involvement of lymph nodes may reflect underlying acute or chronic inflammatory pathologies. Lymph nodes biopsies are used frequently in diagnosis and also in surveillance to see how treatment is affecting the patient. The last bit is a diagram which shows the pleura. This is for the lymphatic drainage of the pleura. Now we know that the pleura has two layers. The light blue area showing the parietal pleura, and if the parietal pleura was stripped open, inside we have the visceral pleura. Now, depending on how the parietal pleura covers the lung and depending on its location, it is split into the cervical pleura, which is the uppermost part of the pleura near the cervical region. When it lines the mediastinum, it forms the mediastinal parietal pleura, and as it lines the diaphragmatic region, it is the diaphragmatic pleura. So each of these different areas, the cervical pleura, the mediastinal pleura, and the diaphragmatic pleura, drains into different groups of lymph nodes. And that is shown on the right side of the diagram. Here we have the cervical pleura, the yellow arrow, which shows that the cervical pleura drains into the axillary group of nodes. The peach colored line shows the mediastinal pleura draining into the internal mammary nodes. And we have the light blue area, which is the costal parietal pleura draining into the, we separate it as the anterior parietal pleura, and as it traverses backwards, it forms the posterior parietal pleura. Anteriorly, it drains into the internal mammary nodes, and posteriorly, it drains into extrapleural nodes. The lowermost bit is formed by the diaphragmatic parietal pleura, and there we see that the green arrows show that it can drain either into para-aortic, intercostal, and posterior mediastinal nodes, or it can drain into cardiophrenic nodes. Lymph fluid from the visceral pleura drains into the subpleural lymphatic plexus and into the bronchopulmonary nodes, and which are located at the hilum of the lung. Thank you.